So again, welcome everyone to our virtual Meet the Doula Night. Today is Wednesday, April 14th, 2021. My name is Brittany Mitchell, and I am the program manager here at Erie Niagara AHEC. And I will be monitoring the chat box and the Facebook comment section for any questions for the Q&A at the end. So just to give you a little bit of background about Erie Niagara AHEC, we are a health workforce development organization, and we are focused on connecting current and future health professionals to communities in need. And that goes along really well with what we're doing here tonight, which is trying to connect community members, specifically expectant mothers, to doula services and learn a little bit more about what kind of services they offer. So I would like to take a second to allow Stephanie, Will, and Victor to introduce themselves. So Stephanie, why don't we start with you?
Hi everyone, I'm Stephanie, and I am a graduate student at the University at Buffalo School of Social Work. I have been interning for Erie Niagara AHEC for about 7 months now, and have since then been assisting with the Maternal Health Project, more specifically coordinating the Meet the Doula Nights that we're here tonight for. I see a lot of familiar faces and some new faces as well that I really look forward to hearing from.
Hi, my name is Victor, and I also go to University of Buffalo, and I'm in the School of Public Health, and I actually just started this internship, and so I will be taking over, overseeing the Maternal Health Project and anything else regarding it.
Hello.
Hi, my name is William Keenling.
Good. How are you doing?
I also came from UB in the master's program of social work, and I've been working here at an AHEC for about a year as a social work intern, and I'm really excited to be working on the Doula project.
Awesome. Thank you both. So just as like a caveat for this training, obviously we are live on Facebook right now, and we are recording this, and we will be posting it to our YouTube channel later on. So just to let everyone know, each pregnancy is unique. Everything, each case is different. So something that you hear on this video may not be directly applicable to your situation. So you really need to talk to your healthcare provider or your own doula about any concerns that you may have, because this isn't like, we're not giving advice on this, we're just giving information about services. And also in regards to certain programs, by the time you watch this video, things may have changed. So just keep that in mind. If you have any questions, you can reach out to us at Erie Niagara AHEC, and I will share the information in the information section for the video. So without further ado, I'm going to hand it over to Victor for the panel discussion with our doulas.
All right. So I'm going to be moderating the panel discussion, and if you guys would be so kind, I just like each of the doulas to just introduce themselves. So why don't we start off with Jennifer Wood? Just tell us a little bit about what you do.
Hi, I am Jennifer Woods. I trained to be a doula here locally, and I currently work with Calming Nature Doula Services. I am one of the doulas that accepts Medicaid locally. We do have a few. For me, that was really important because I think access is everything. I think, everybody deserves a doula, so that's why I made sure to jump on that Medicaid bandwagon, because I want every mom who wants one to have a doula. I work with moms when they're pregnant, before they have the baby, and after, really in whatever way that they need it. It just kind of depends on what they need. So they do get about 8 visits before altogether. So you can do 4, then you have the baby and you can have another 4. So, and they're able to use those 4 postpartum visits for up to a year. So I try to tell people all the time, it takes a village. And I always encourage them to use those postpartum time to sit, talk. I'm a lactationist, so I help with breastfeeding. I'm a therapist, so I think the one thing that's really unique about me is a lot of moms come into it with a lot of anxiety. Sometimes, I think people are well-meaning, but they do tend to tell you their birth horror stories. which causes a lot of fear and anxiety for moms sometimes. So I am able to kind of work through those fears and those anxieties with them so that they feel as prepared as you can be to actually give birth. And I also do a lot of work. So postpartum work is important for me too, just to screen for those mental health things that can come up too. I do a lot of validating for moms because it is very hard. And, the image that we get on TV is that, it's perfect and you're supposed to snap back and everything. And that is not real life. So I try my best to let them know, that's not real life and you're doing absolutely great as you are.
All right, now for Julis Vasquez.
Hi, everyone. My name is Julissa Vasquez. I am a doula. I work with the Priscilla Project, which is a program of Jericho Road. We also work with women who have Medicaid and who don't have Medicaid. We also do for prenatal and for postpartum visits. A lot of our visits are structured around something educational. So we do talk about nutrition, car seat safety, sleep safety. We do create a birth plan. And then all of our clients do receive a doula. So you do have to be enrolled into our program to then receive that education and a doula. And then postpartum, we do 4 visits, scheduled visits, but typically women are in our program 6 months postpartum. So up until that point, we're meeting at least once a month, just to make sure that everything is okay. We have a few lactation consultants or counselors in our program as well, me being one of them. So that's what I do. That's the program.
Thanks, Julissa. And also now for Della Williams.
Hi, my name is Della Williams. I'm a birth and a postpartum doula. I am independent and also I accept Medicaid. I also work as a backup to Common Nature as a doula. So with my doula clients, like the other lady said, they do have 4 prenatal, their delivery and postpartum. Do a lot of educating and just trying to make them comfortable and also trying to develop trust. So many of the moms I found don't trust the medical system at all. And it just takes a lot to gain their trust and also try to encourage them to and let them know that they have a voice and they can use their voice. They should use their voice and they don't just have to accept, what's being told to them. They don't have to be intimidated by doctors and hospitals and also other services that are out there. So I just do my best to try to educate, support, encourage, and refer. I'm not a lactationist, but I do refer to Common Nature and other lactation specialists.
Really great descriptions from all of you. I just want to maybe go dive deeper into all that by just asking a few questions. So,
Oh wait, Victor,
question,
did Kayla Rogers go?
Ooh, sorry about that. Kayla, do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure, I will totally do that. So my name is Kayla Rogers. I am a birth and postpartum doula. I am also on the journey to become a certified lactation consultant, which will take some time still, but I'm excited about that. And I do participate in the Medicaid doula pilot program. So I think it's a great way to allow women to get the care that they deserve and to have the support. And I do also, so I do private pay as well. And for people who don't have Medicaid and maybe they're in that middle ground, a lot of us doulas too, we have payment plans available for people who do have to pay out of pocket, which is great, or do sliding scales. So it's always great to kind of network and reach out to people. A lot of us doulas are close. Della on here was a doula for my last birth for me. And for the most part, I think a lot of us just like to build good communities. So then women are being supported all around and their families too. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, so, well, the first question I want to ask, just to dive in deeper, is what would you say your role is in the birthing process? Like, where do you fit into like that puzzle? And anyone can feel free to chime in at any time.
Well, for me, my role is just being present, being supportive, and just encouraging the moms that they can do this, that they can feel comfortable, and also they do have a voice.
Yeah, just to piggyback off of that. So I like to tell all of my clients, like, especially during labor and delivery, like I'm there to like support, advocate, and educate. So like mom is connected to her body, so she knows what her body is doing. But a lot of the times moms are like in this state where they don't really recognize what's going around them. And so I know that if a doctor's in this position, this is about to happen. And so I'm there to just like make sure that mom understands what may happen next. But before the birthing process, I'm really there to like listen to mom and also give her some of this really good information that I come in with. So really there to like educate, but definitely during labor and delivery, like support, advocate, and educate, especially because like we're creating a birth plan together. So mom and I kind of already know what she wants. And so like I'm always there to be like, remember we talked about this, is a really good time to talk about that. But if mom has continued to say that and no one's listening to her, then I'm just there to amplify her voice and make sure that she's actually being heard. So that's what I do.
Victor, you're muted.
Sorry about that. Does anyone else want to piggyback off that? All right. So could you guys also explain how Medicaid eligibility works and like what's included and like what goes into all that?
Well, hello. So moms that are eligible for Medicaid are normally covered under the for the doula pilot program, but that is in Erie County. Moms in Niagara County, which we do have a lot, are not covered. So the main thing you would do is, or should do, is check with your insurance just to make sure that your services will be covered. But as doulas, we also verify your insurance too. Some insurances do require authorization, so we have to wait for approval in most cases, unless it's an emergency. Sometimes you can work around it. It does cover, as it was stated before, 4 prenatal visits, your labor and delivery, and 4 postpartum visits. All of the visits aren't, as far as I understand, postpartum, are not necessarily up to a year. Some insurances give you a timeline of maybe 4 to 6 months. It might be possible to push it, but it's just been my findings that all of them aren't covered for a year.
So because I work with Jericho Road, we have a whole building team that kind of like works with like insurances and stuff. So I don't really know a lot about like the eligibility, but I do know that in order to be enrolled in the doula pilot program, it can't just be straight Medicaid. It has to be like some kind of managed care plan. So that's the one thing I do know about eligibility.
I'm sorry, straight Medicaid is also accepted. Yes, it is.
Oh, I had no idea. I thought it was just what is it? A managed care plan. I was always
No.
told that.
No, not necessarily. A lot of moms start off with Medicaid and then they may switch over to care managed, but not necessarily. So I have had a few straight Medicaids that haven't transitioned over yet to.
Oh, nice. I had no idea.
Yeah.
Kayla, did you want to add anything?
Pretty much what the ladies have said sounds like what I have dealt with. One thing that is kind of nice for the clients, but not necessarily the doulas, or billing can be tricky. So the doulas have to sometimes follow up with the different insurance companies, and not all of the doulas work with all of the different insurance companies that are participating in the program. So it's always good to ask, you know, I have Medicaid with Independent Health, or I have Medicaid with Blue Cross and Blue Shield. And just make sure that your doula is participating with all of those different insurances. We work directly with them, so the clients don't have to reach out and say, hey, like, I have a doula, I need to be doing X, Y, and Z. We go right ahead. The only thing we need are just some few basic things. So a copy of or picture of their card, their insurance card, some basic questions. So estimated due date, current address, their name, obviously, birthday, and sometimes depending on what type of billing you're doing, they will ask the last date of your menstrual cycle. So it's really simple as far as the clients go, and really it's just all about communication once you've decided on who your doula is going to be, and then building rapport and going from there.
All right, thank you everyone for answering that one, because I understand that insurance, everything that goes into it, that can be a little bit confusing. So I think you've definitely like helped like bridge some knowledge gaps there. And so for the next question, I just want to know, like, how do you work with birthing families before, during, and after labor? So like, can you like explain like you guys were like in each like stage of the birthing process?
Well, hello again. So for me, the stage. So the first thing that we're doing, and normally it's phone, email, where we meet a client, where she may be looking for a doula. Sometimes it's even the dads that are calling, and they're looking for a doula. And so we normally try to set up a meeting for face-to-face, so that we could kind of get to know each other, kind of see if we're a fit, because all doulas aren't a fit for everybody. And basically you share your information, or I would share my information as far as what services I provide. And then we talk about a birthing plan and what that family would like their birth to look like. After that, we set up a time. So we have our regular meetings where we're doing comfort measures. I'm just answering questions, concerns, referring where we can, and just being there, just support, just that person to just answer a question that they don't feel comfortable asking their doctors or their provider. And then it comes to labor. So once the mom's in labor, we either receive a call from her or one of the support team, and come up with the plan on when we should meet, birthing center, home, or hospital. and we attend we're there for the birth, and we're with the mom throughout her labor. Everyone doesn't go immediately. Some doulas wait to find out the status of the mom. Indeed, she's going to be admitted, and if the birth would be soon or expected. Even if it's an induction, you might wait until the patient was active to go in. So after baby's born, we're normally staying with the mom maybe 2 to 4 hours, depending on the circumstances of her birth. And after that, mom is discharged, and we normally meet the mom again. Well, mom is not discharged. Mom is discharged from labor and delivery to the floors or home. But we normally meet the mom day one or within that week for the first visit. Just to follow up with mom if she's having concerns. If there's anything we can do for the mom, and then we set up our following visits after that. So I think that's basically how it goes.
So mine works very similar to Ms. Della's and a little different just because like I am working with a program. So the Priscilla Project itself, the way that it works is that we get a referral from either the clinic that we work for or someone out in the community, or even sometimes an insurance company might refer a client. And we will very similar set up a time and day where we can do an intake. So really basic, non-invasive, just trying to get some information about the client, how we can like best show up and serve mom and her support people. And so then after that, the next four visits are a nutrition class. So we're going over nutrition. So we're talking about iron, water, what her plate looks like typically on a day from like breakfast, lunch, dinner. We'll then go into a 2-part baby care class. And during that, we will talk about breastfeeding. We will talk about car seat safety, sleep safety, perinatal mood disorders, things to look out for. And then we will do a birth plan. And during that time, I really want to meet anyone who's going to be in the room. This was pre-COVID, because pre-COVID, we could have whoever we wanted there in the hospital at least. But now it's that one person. And so I really want to meet this person. I don't want to be a stranger walking in. And so then labor and delivery happens. And then after that, we follow up on feeding. So whether that be breastfeeding or formula feeding, just to make sure that mom is good, baby is good, that mom is not having any like difficulty breastfeeding, and really looking out for those like mood disorders if no one else can spot that. And then we also do the Edinburgh screenings right around that 3 to 6 week, just to make sure. But yeah, so that's 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 how we do it over here.
Jennifer, did you want to add anything to that?
I'm sorry, what was the question?
Oh, sorry. It was just like, tell us how like how you like work before, during, and after labor. Like what things do you are usually like doing?
So before, I think it's pretty much the same as the other ladies. I do birth planning. The very first time you meet me, it's kind of a get to know you session, because it's going to get real intimate real fast at some point. And I want to make sure that you're super comfortable with me being there with you. So, I get, ask me all your questions, like whatever concerns you might have, we kind of talk about. And then the next few times we go over comfort measures, things you like, things you don't like, how you want me to touch you if you don't want me to do a certain thing. We do birth planning so that like what options are available in the hospital. I also, if you need it, do some role playing. So, if you had a kid before and you're like, well, the nurse really did this last time and I don't want them to do it again, then we kind of go over how you want that conversation to go, because it's not my job to speak for you. But if I can prepare you to have those conversations, you know, either with your medical doctor or your provider when you get to the hospital, like that's like perfect for me. So that, and then we do a lot of breastfeeding prep, and then postpartum prep too. So, you know, who's going to be there with you when you have the baby? You know, what's that going to look like? Who's going to babysit your 3-year-old while you're in the hospital? So just to make sure that those plans like that are in place. I'm there with you when you have the birth, when you have the baby. And then actually postpartum kind of looks different for every mom. So for somebody, one lady, it was, you know, her baby was crying at 2 o'clock in the morning. So I went there to, you know, this is how you soothe, this is how we swaddle, like, you know, this is how we prevent this from happening again, so that you can at least get some rest. It could be help with breastfeeding, it can be anything, really anything that they need.
If you need a haka, I got a haka. I'll just give you. You don't have to buy one.
Thanks so much, Jennifer. Victor, you want to do the next question?
Yeah, I got you. Somebody mentioned earlier about like meeting like the partner, like sometimes they said sometimes even like the husband or partner calls. Could you could somebody explain like how like incorporating them like works? Like how do you incorporate them into like the process? How do you work with them?
So a lot of times, because the doula is new to a lot of our clients, and especially our Medicaid clients, they may have heard of a doula before or they haven't. They're not quite sure about it. And so sometimes I do have the husband partner call and inquire and ask questions about it. So what I normally do is ask the husband also to be present, or partner, to be present at the our first visit, at least the first visit, just that we could also get to meet each other so that they could feel comfortable with me also, and letting them know that they are a big part of this. I mean, it's their birth, it's not my birth. I'm just there to kind of coach them along and just to, you know, let them know that they also have a part in it. Not just that the mom is having a baby, that it's a big part of them too. And they're going to be expected to do a lot. They know her better than me. They know what is best for her, what feels good in most cases. Sometimes they seem to think that she should be able to do things that she can, but you know, we kind of pull them together and just say, this is how this looks, this is what this is going to look like, and just try to again get them involved. I go to a lot of the centering classes with my clients at the birth center. I've also gone to medical appointments when they were allowed, just to advocate for them, or also just to help them to understand what the doctor was saying. So I always try to keep the partner, husband, support team, because it's sometimes just a team. It could be a sister, mom, involved in the whole process along the way, and also have them feel free to call me if they have any questions, something that they might not want mom to know, or they don't feel comfortable. So that's something that I do.
If I could chime in too on what Della has said about how we incorporate the partners. So I always tell my clients that it's great to know you. It's great to chat with you and become intimate in that sort of way, but I did not create the baby with you. So your partner's going to know you in a different level, or maybe it's your close friend who is going to be the main partner at birth, or, you know, a parent. Our goal and our role is not to replace, unless you specifically say, I want you to be my sole support person. Our job is not to replace your partner that you have there. We want to incorporate them. So one big question that we'll ask, or at least I ask, is what is your role, or how how do you feel with birth? You know, and sometimes people say, I'm terrified of blood, you know, just I want to stay up by, you know, mom's head, and that's okay. So then we know. Or when we're going over comfort measures and different techniques, getting them involved. So showing them, okay, you can place your hand here and apply counter pressure, or sometimes just giving tasks, whether it's a home birth or in the hospital. Maybe it's just, hey, you know, can you make this washcloth cold again for me and place it, you know, on her head or on her chest? Or is there anything that's intimate that's said between you and your partner, or different ways that you guys connect in a normal everyday to day life that you could say to her right now to make her feel good or encourage her? So it's really just motivating or helping to open the gate so then the partner can feel comfortable in the situation too and do how they feel they're comfortable with doing. Same with, you know, maybe the mom, she doesn't want a lot of hands-on from the partner, which I find this quite often. The doula does no wrong, but the partner can do the same thing the doula is doing, and the moms will say, no, you're doing it wrong. But it's just really building your team and working together for sure.
Thanks so much, Kayla. Jennifer, did you want, Jennifer or Julissa, did you have anything else that you wanted to add to that before we move on to the next question?
No, just I think it's really important for me to like help him feel involved as much as possible. So if it is, you know, cooling a washcloth or talking to her, rubbing her head, you know, to do those things, because sometimes I find that dads want to be involved, but they feel really helpless because they feel like they can't do anything at all. So I just try to work with them in that way. You know, you can rub her feet or, you know, do anything to kind of, you know, show to her that you're still present and helping as much as you can.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So I know we had a few more questions, but just for the sake of time, I just want to ask one more, and then we'll move on to Katie and Beth's part of the presentation, and then we'll have a little bit of Q&A. So for the last question, what are some common concerns faced by your moms or your clients that you are able to address with them during, you know, either prenatal or postpartum or even during labor and delivery? And anyone can start with this.
Okay, so I just think for me, a lot of concerns are just the doctors listening to them. A lot of times they've had traumatic births, and I find that I just try my best to ease their minds, to give them information, to give them the questions to ask to their doctors, although we're not medical, so we can't really speak to the doctors, although some doctors will allow you to, they'll answer questions for you. But I just try my best to just comfort and support them, again, educate the best I can, and you know, just give them evidence-based information. To, you know, just to make their birthday plan. I just think that moms that are looking for doulas should do research. You don't have to pick the first doula that you see. On the doula pilot program, on their directory, there are a lot of doulas. So basically just matching up a doula with your first your insurance, and then just talking to the doula and making sure you're a match, and that and then just feeling comfortable that that doula is going to work the best with you for your birth outcome.
Awesome. Thank you. Oh, go ahead.
I just find now that a lot of moms are asking, like, you know, how many people are allowed in the hospital? You know, like, can my mom and, you know, this person come? Am I going to be birthing alone? I find like that to be like really top of the list right now, just because like, I mean, everything was so unsure for a really long time, and things have now been like switched and changed. And so like that's really what I'm finding to be like top of a lot of people's lists.
I get a lot of questions about breastfeeding. Oftentimes it's a mom who's tried before and wasn't able to. So just I really work with them to build up their confidence to breastfeed and let them know that we have supports in the community that can help. If something's going on or you need more help, like we can do that. And then also the pain, like there's that, it's like this big bad wolf. And so it's not necessarily that I can do anything about the pain, but more just an acceptance and moving through it, teaching them that you can move through it, and your breath is powerful, and so you can breathe right through anything. So really, I think demystifying some of that. I don't know what's going to happen. Like, is it going to be like TV, and there's going to be this dramatic water breaking, and then instant pain, and then the baby's going to fly out? So like if I could kind of make that more real for them as much as possible, because it can be different every time you're pregnant, but they're just like, well, my mom said it was like this and it hurts so bad, so if I can demystify some of that for them, I definitely work to do that so that they're not having those fears when they're when it's finally time to have the baby.
Awesome, thank you. I actually think, Jennifer, that is a great transition into our next section. So if there's any, final things that you guys want to say to people who may be watching this later, we can just bring that back to the Q&A session. Julissa, I know you have to leave early, so I just want to say thank you for your time on this panel. We loved having you, and yeah, I hope to see you on Friday. And with that, Stephanie, I will let you do the intro.
Yes, definitely. Thank you so much to Jennifer, Julissa, Della, and Kayla for all of your knowledge and expertise on this matter. And as Jennifer kind of touched on in her last few moments, a huge concern faced by several moms is definitely breastfeeding and lactation. And we actually have Katie Constantino and Beth Chambers here from WIC to touch on that subject a little more. Go ahead, Katie.
Great. Thanks for having us. I feel like I should have another baby now listening to you guys talk. I'm like, oh, that ship has sailed. But I feel like I'd love to have all four of you come to my birth and help me. That would be awesome. I was lucky with my third baby to have a doula. Kind of didn't really know about it with my first. So it's so awesome when you guys can connect, especially with those first-time moms, to have that support with the very first time. How awesome. So I'm the breastfeeding coordinator at the Catholic Charities WIC program, and we cover all of Erie, Niagara, and Chautauqua counties. So what we've been trying to do these past few months is really have a push to connect our WIC moms to have a doula, especially in Erie County where it can be totally covered by Medicaid. So we're really trying to work on this partnership to help connect our mothers. We're a really big WIC program. We have 25,000 participants in our 3 counties. We actually have more participants than some states. We have more people on WIC here than in Montana and Rhode Island. We serve a lot of people. And when a mother comes on WIC, it's income-based. So if she has Medicaid or SNAP, she automatically qualifies for WIC. But if she doesn't have those, it's based on her income. If she's a single pregnant mom, she can make up to about $32,000 a year. A mom, a dad, and she's going to have a baby, that's 3 people. It's up to 40,000 or so. So the income guidelines are really generous. And a lot of people don't realize that. And they think, oh, I don't qualify for WIC, but most people do, especially young people and people starting out. Most people qualify for WIC. And there's plenty of room for more and more people to join WIC. We have enough to help everybody. And so when you get on the WIC program, there's lots of things what we provide, and you'll meet with a nutritionist, and you're going to see her every couple of months when you're pregnant. And all of our nutritionists have gone to certified lactation counselor training. So it's a 5-day course where they learned about breastfeeding to like encourage and support moms. And we're going to talk about breastfeeding. What are your thoughts about breastfeeding? Are you thinking about it? And if you're not thinking about it, what are you worried about, or what are your barriers? And let's talk about it, because often it's something that we can provide her a little more information, and she's like, I didn't know that. I didn't know I could just pump. So we kind of talk about what the options are and get every mom to do a little bit of breastfeeding and kind of help her to think more about it. There's a lot of moms that come in thinking, I don't know if I want to do this, but by the time they have their baby, they've kind of changed their mind. We know back in 2009, Catholic Charities took on WIC in Erie County. Our breastfeeding rates were really, really low in this area. And I'm sorry, my dog is going to bark right now too, of course, while I'm talking. Really low. Maybe only 25% of our moms even initiated breastfeeding. So it wasn't all that long ago that maybe your mom didn't breastfeed, your sister didn't breastfeed, and your cousin didn't breastfeed. You didn't know anyone that breastfed a baby. And now just here in 2021, our rates are more like 70% of our moms breastfeed their babies. So it's much more common to have that support around you too, with your family breastfed and your friends breastfed, which is really awesome. What change has happened in the past decade or so, a really huge change for a really short amount of time. So we also provide referrals to other programs. When you come to WIC, you're going to have other needs too. Maybe you need a stroller or a dentist. We help connect people with those kind of needs too. The food benefits that people get are even better if you're a breastfeeding mom. On WIC, you get more food in your food package. Your baby gets more food in their food package when you're a breastfeeding mom too. So there's a little bit of incentive there too, to get the kind of the better food package. And all of our benefits are on a card now. I should have brought one to hold up, but it's like a credit card. So when you go shopping, there's not the stigma that used to be when you went to go shopping and you had the paper checks and it was a big hassle when you had checked out. Now it's super easy. If you need to just buy the eggs, you can just buy eggs. You don't have to buy everything that was on the check. If you had WIC in the past or knew about people in the past, it's kind of a hassle to go grocery shopping. And it's so much easier now, the way they've redesigned the program, which has been really nice. The big part of what we do with the breastfeeding too is we have a really awesome breastfeeding program at WIC. So the nutritionist meets with you and talks about breastfeeding. If she's having anything that's a little more complicated, we have 3 of us, myself, Amber, and Bridget, that are full-time lactation consultants. So we're board certified lactation consultants. We have, to become board certified in lactation, you need to have 90 hours of lactation credit, 1,000 contact hours working with moms and babies, certain college courses, and then you sit for the exam. And every 5 years you have to recertify, and every 10 years you'd have to take the exam again, which was really super nerve-wracking. And so we've had a lot of experience. We've all done it for a lot of years, so we have a lot of experience. So we're there for the more complicated things that happen, and we feel like nobody really falls through the cracks too often because we have such a great support system in place that we find out if mom needs help right away, and we're always available. We have, Beth probably has hers right by her. We all have our WIC work cell phones, so moms call us in the evenings on the weekend. There's no off time if you work for my lactation team. We're always available. And what I wanted Beth to talk about is what our peer counselors do. This is a really cool program where every mom who is pregnant on our WIC program gets a peer counselor. If she's breastfeeding, she has a peer counselor. If you're part of our WIC program, it's just automatic. Everybody gets one. And we have 14 peer counselors that work for us. And so maybe Beth can share a little bit about what she does with the moms.
Hi, I've been with WIC for a little over 6 years now. And as peer counselors, we're able to get in touch with moms basically within days of them starting the program. We offer support and breastfeeding education throughout their pregnancy. We also offer avenues to resources, and in some cases, we can sign them up for referrals directly. We check in throughout the pregnancy, and then obviously after the baby is born. We basically help troubleshoot. So if I recognize that there's a bigger issue going on, I can yield the case immediately to one of the IBCLCs who can get right in and immediately start counseling the mother as well. We also recognize some postpartum issues and can get them in touch with counseling services, again, immediately. Being in this position means a lot to me. When I was a first-time mom, I had no idea what I was doing. It was very nerve-wracking, and I knew breastfeeding was important. I just didn't really know what I was doing. So to be able to be that person to a mom now, like to be able to help her in that vulnerable time is huge to me. So it's very important, and it just makes me very passionate to be able to help a mom go from pregnant woman to breastfeeding mother and help it be as seamless and comfortable as possible.
Thank you so much. Oh, go ahead.
One of the things that Beth didn't share about herself is all of our peer counselors have some unique skills. I don't know if Beth cares if I say this, but Beth has breastfed 2 sets of twins. So whenever I have moms with multiples, isn't that awesome? We pair them up with Beth. Anjali speaks Spanish. So if you speak Spanish, Anjali is your peer counselor. So if you're a young teen mom, we probably pair you up with my youngest peer counselor that I have, who is a teen mom herself. So we try to pair everybody up with someone that's kind of like them. You know, if you have a big family like Beth probably has a lot of the moms with big families because she knows what that's like. But we try to do our best to connect the moms with our peer counselors, and peer counselors really find out so much more about the mom's needs than the rest of us even do at the office. Moms share so much more with the peer counselors. It's like talking to your friend. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely having gone through the experiences too, it kind of helps you connect on another level, that they can trust that you know from experience what they're going through and how to overcome that. And that goes for a lot of the doulas on the call as well. And that actually is going to perfectly transition us to our question and answer section, which is going to be open to everyone on this call to answer the questions. So if any one of you has the answer, you can unmute yourself and answer them accordingly. So if William wants to ask some of the questions, and then I have a few questions later on, and if Brittany wants to include any, or Victor, go ahead, Will.
Okay, great. Yeah, I'll start with some of the questions we had ready that we expect some of the mothers to want to ask. So first, what do you suggest to about people who are worried about an early delivery or a late delivery? Are there any like initial tips you can give to make sure that things are happening on time in a healthy way?
Can you ask the question again?
Yeah, some mothers might be concerned about having either a very early or late delivery. Are there any tips you could give them to help make sure that there aren't any problems concerning that?
Okay, I find that a lot of moms are over anxious at the end, which is normal. You're tired of being pregnant probably at 37 weeks, maybe even before that. So a lot of moms become anxious, wanting the baby out, sometimes getting tricked into inductions because doctors do offer them at as early as 39 weeks if there aren't any medical concerns. And I encourage them to just let their body tell them what to do. Talk to their doctor and find out if induction is necessary, and just weigh their options. Moms that are early and that may experience labor or labor concerns, sorry, I kind of just advise them to just check with their doctor. If they're certain if they're having contractions, they need to go to the hospital to be monitored, not just to wait for that 5 minutes apart, even though if they're ready to have the baby now, they want it out. But I encourage them to go to the hospital for early delivery and just let their labor just progress naturally, and not to be in such a rush, just to let it progress naturally. Baby's probably gonna come when baby's ready. So that's what I encourage my moms to do.
Miss Stella, I just have like a follow-up question. Are there any like strategies that you use to kind of help them, I guess, be more patient? Like when at the end of their pregnancy?
Basically, I talk about comfort measures a lot. Sometimes they're uncomfortable, and that's one of the main reasons that they're just done with it. They've had it. So we talk a lot about comfort measures, yoga, meditation, just reviewing videos, finding ways of relaxing, and just basically just talking about it, just talking and discussing it, massages and just different things, chiropractor, just different things that would help to, I don't know, just make things easier for them as they wait for their date to come on.
Thank you.
And another thing too, going based off of kind of what Della said a little bit, and then also it's a mental preparation too. So I like to make sure that it doesn't always help. I tell my moms that think of it as a due month, right? And then of course you might be starting to get tired and uncomfortable. So things like Della said, going to the chiropractor, massages, a little bit more self-care and really, taking it easy if you feel you need to take it easy. But other than that, I think the mental preparation of baby's going to come, baby comes, it's kind of hard to say to somebody. They think, okay, well, but I've got this due date. This is when it's supposed to happen. So it's kind of preparing them to learn your body's cues and signs. Understand what early labor can look like, also kind of touching on what Braxton Hicks might look like, preparing them for the false labors, the things that make them get excited because they thought they felt something or saw something, and just planning out those scenarios so then when something does happen, they know, okay, who do I need to contact? Is it I'm freaking out because maybe I thought I peed myself a little bit, or is my water breaking? So a lot of times moms will reach out and be like, I think my water broke. So we ask those questions and then refer them to their care provider. So really just kind of building the mental preparation along with the physical self-care, I think can be helpful. And also, is there a medical concern, right? So communicating and being open with their care provider. What's happening? Is it a holiday that you're due around, and now all of a sudden it wasn't a concern before, but now, it's, hey, maybe we should schedule an induction? Or is it, hey, you're having these issues with your blood pressure or X, Y, and Z, those sorts of things. So it's really encouraging the clients to ask questions at their doctors and their care providers, and then mentally preparing them as much as possible that it could be you go at 37 weeks, you could go at 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, possibly. Thank you.
I think Will might be frozen. Thank you, both Miss Stella and Kayla. Will, you're back with us?
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Sorry, there's always one or two technical issues. Okay, So for the next question that we got actually from the Facebook is, what are some hesitations around breastfeeding? No, not all mothers are very comfortable with it, the idea.
Do you, so what would make some moms hesitant about breastfeeding? I guess, I think, was it Jennifer that was talking about some of the horror stories that people like to share with you? They like to tell you how breastfeeding went bad for them, and people don't share all the good, wonderful things. But so sometimes people are nervous because they've heard bad things, but if something's going wrong, there's lots of people that can help you to make it go right. Some moms are worried because they have to go back to work or back to school right away. But the good thing now in New York is that all insurances cover a breast pump totally for free, a really good double electric breast pump. There's one insurance company that makes you wait until after you've had your baby, but pretty much every other insurance company you can get it ahead of time and be prepared. Some moms are just nervous about putting baby to breast. Maybe they just want a pump, and that's okay too. Any amount of breastfeeding is a good thing. And sometimes we just help moms set small goals. Try it while you're in the hospital. Your milk's going to come in. Your body thinks you're going to breastfeed, and your baby thinks he's going to breastfeed too. They're just born wanting to breastfeed. So we have a lot of moms that have those babies and they're skin to skin in the delivery room. And guess what? The baby just starts going to latch on because that's what babies are born to do. So sometimes moms just totally change their mind at the end.
There's a huge part too where a lot of moms aren't aware that they can offer breast milk and formula. They think it's all or nothing. And when you can meet the mom where she's at and explain that you can offer both in any capacity, it really opens up the door to allow breastfeeding discussion and to move forward, making the mom comfortable.
Thank you, that's wonderful. For the next question, how long after giving birth should someone wait before trying another pregnancy?
So I actually think that's not really so much a doula question and more of a question that they would have with their partner and also their care provider, depending on the circumstance of how they gave birth. That can play a role in it. Also, other factors. Did they have a hard time becoming pregnant? Do they have health concerns? So that's more of a medical type of question. I'm not sure if you other ladies agree or not. No one can really, I don't feel that I could answer that for a client of mine. I think that's a personal choice. And then also given their medical standpoint, that's something that sometimes moms will communicate with their care providers.
Yeah. So we usually like moms to at least 1.5 years to 2 years spacing, and for mom to be in the healthiest shape. If she's got some weight to lose after that first pregnancy, that's a nice thing about being on WIC. Her nutritionist can help her work with that to get to a healthier weight. So trying to get her into the healthiest possible space before she has that next baby is what we're also aiming to help her do. There's actually a movement to try to extend WIC for more years to keep moms on longer, to be able to provide that kind of help. That interspacing, that time in between pregnancies is really important. And the more contact we have at WIC with them, we can help with those things. Hasn't happened yet, but we're hoping maybe in the next year or two that might pass.
I agree with Kayla that the question of how long you should wait to become pregnant again, I believe that's a medical decision. That's something I believe that a mom should, or partner or family should talk with their provider about, because I wouldn't want to scare anyone to say, if I got pregnant at the 6-week visit, what is my choice, or if that's a bad thing, or if I had a C-section and I got pregnant, as a doula, I just wouldn't feel comfortable doing anything other than advising them to speak with their provider.
there was just a comment in the chat, and Katie or Beth, this might be for you. I see that you kind of responded. So I just want to put it out there for the people who may be watching online or who may be watching later. So WIC has pumps for expectant moms who are having trouble with breastfeeding, or if they have to leave their baby to go back to work or school. We had another comment saying that if insurance doesn't allow it before delivery, they can get it from WIC. Katie, can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. So WIC also, we have to wait till mom has had her baby before she would have a pump. And it kind of depends what her needs are. If she has a premature baby, we do have the hospital grade type of pumps that you'd see right at the hospital, the Medela Symphony pumps. That, you know, if she had her baby at 28 weeks and she needed that type of pump, we have those for free for mothers. We have almost 300. We have plenty. If we can get it to her that day, you know, if the hospitals usually call me and that day, dad or somebody comes to pick up that pump for mom, we can help them right away. Or her doula, someone might call me, whoever, just call us and we'll help her right away. If she has to go back to work or school and insurance is difficult, which some of them can be, or hard to figure out how to get that pump covered, we often will do a WIC pump if the insurance thing is too hard. And we also have plenty of those. So we kind of work with her and see. Breastfeeding is going great. Hopefully she's just nursing and she can get that pump. But it is nice when you can get it ahead of time and just have it at the house in case. You know, and then you can supplement with breast milk if you're having a bad day instead of grabbing the formula. Because you've got that pump and you put some milk in your freezer that you pumped. So
awesome. Thank you so much. So I just noticed that we are at 7:30. So I just want to be respectful of everyone's time and just kind of maybe conclude with one final prompt. Is there anything that, and any of you can answer this, is there any maybe advice or recommendation that you would give to moms who are looking for a doula, how they would go about finding one or something along those lines? Or it could be, you know, any type of advice. But if anyone has any suggestions, please let me know or let us know.
Well, as far as the Medicaid doula pilot program, they do have the doula directory. So they would just go, and those doulas on there are covered by Medicaid. So they would just go to the New York State doula pilot program, and it'll give you a directory. And then I guess that could be a start. Could be word of mouth or just contacting other doulas just to ask them if they are, you know, if they're Medicaid certified or to attend their births.
Awesome. Thank you, Ms. Della. And I will make sure when the recording finishes up and I'm able to upload to YouTube, I'll be sure to include the link to the directory in the video description so that if people are watching and, you know, they want to find a Medicaid certified doula, they can just click the link and find that list and reach out to any of you who are certified. Does anyone else have anything they'd like to add before we finish up for tonight? Okay, well, I just want to say a huge thank you to each of our speakers today. And thank you so much for all of the valuable work that you're doing in the community. We really at AHEC and, you know, as individuals are really passionate about maternal health and, you know, mitigating these maternal health disparities that we're seeing, particularly among women of color. And I just want to say a huge thank you to all the work that you're doing to help women during their pregnancies, labor and delivery. Again, for those of you watching online, just a reminder that this video is not meant to, you know, diagnose or do anything like that. If you have any specific questions, you should talk to your care provider. And yeah, thank you also to Stephanie, Will, and Victor for helping organize this event. And I hope everyone has a great night.
Thanks for having us.
Bye, everyone.
Everyone,
Bye-bye.
thank you so much.
Bye, thank you.
Bye-bye.